And welcome back to Sorcery. We are in the artist market. We are not finding anything in the artist market. We are skipping the boat, kidnapping, and heading on out. You turn around intending to leave, but when you realize you have lost sight of the entrance in the crush of people and creatures, you wander for a few minutes from one carpet seller to the next, but you're utterly lost. Give me a how. I'm not gonna risk getting injured, getting captured, losing money. You cast a spell and a voice enters your mind with clear instructions how to leave. However, they are complicated and you won't be able to remember them unless you go now. Striding quickly, you follow twists and turns, guided by the voice until you see daylight. Yeah, we're just getting out of there. Outside the market, emerging, blinking into the sunshine, you find yourself near a tall statue, beyond which is a wider plaza. Foot of the statue is a drinking fountain. Drink. You take a drink and feel refreshed. This outside the plaza is a paved clearing, perhaps intended for visitors to the market to tie their horses, but if any have, then it would seem their horses have been stolen. Around you, the slums are still standing intact, no trace of fire or destruction. The wizard was right, time has been reversed, but not for long. Yeah, you never actually told me about the fire. The main road continues between the slums, heading up a low rise and the side alleys. Look left, a narrow road leads to the slums. Look right, the main road turns to higher and continues the rise towards a run of slightly grander buildings. Ivy and gripweed hang from bent metal railings. The whole place seems empty, deserted, and dark. Suddenly, out of an almost invisible narrow alleyway, a figure no higher than your knees dashes out, collides with you, steals my money. As they cry apology, run after them. You charge quickly down the road. You know a pickpocket when you feel one slip their hand into your purse. You catch sight of them in a narrow alley further up the road. We'll take you off the main track into a maze-like back streets if you follow. The slums are unlikely places to find nobles, but you might be able to learn their names or where they're hiding. Follow the fucking thief. Give me back my money, you son of a bitch. You race into a side alley after the figure, twisting and turning between tall buildings. The thief is a small child who freezes for a moment, then begins to run twice as fast, straight towards a high boarded fence. Child looks sprightly and terrified. You won't put it past them to try to climb their way out. Cast a spell. Which spells do we have now? Let's be inventive. D, F, W, little J. Little G. D, F, W, and little G. Awesome. How about a Dawes? Dawes seems pretty straightforward. I could try the mask. Mask wouldn't cost me anything. But I don't know if he'll be able to see it. But we'll try it. You whip out the mask and cast a spell. The air seems to grow thick and intense, and the child looks back over its shoulder to stare at you, eyes widening in fear. Suddenly rooted to the spot, unable to move. You grab the child by the scruff of the neck. It's a young girl. She is frozen, staring at you with wide eyes. You robbed me. Me? No, I wouldn't. I'm being chased by the guard. Are you a guard? No. In fact, I'm escaping from the guard myself. Then why are you chasing me? I've got rights, you know. You stole from me. You probably dropped your money when you were running after me, she replies, then colors. Suddenly you hear footsteps behind you, and before you can react, a figure has grabbed you by the scruff of your neck. Scram, this new figure growls to the child, who needs no further warning. You're in the house of the murderer once again. He's trying to talk to you, pouring a glass of ale with one hand and lacing it with poison with the other. Fuck it. You waste no time in drawing your sword. Screw you, you whore. With Van Gorn dead, you are free to search his house. Look in the cupboards. Essence, you find a jar marked poison and one labeled essence of bark. Take both. I ain't tasting nothing. Examine the hangings. Hangings look like rich treasures from a much grander household made of thick cloth and are exquisitely decorated with the images of orcs and trolls being hacked to pieces by a hero with 2 blades and a silver crown. One of the hangings has a suspiciously large bulge beneath it, and as you watch, the bulge moves. I'm going to take the body first. Find 8 gold pieces. Alright, now let's look behind. A giant spider! It jumps at you, burying its fangs, landing on your chest. Cast a spell, talk to spiders. Can I cast the spell, talk to spiders? Yep. I would love to cast the spell, talk to spiders. Can I please talk to spiders? Oh my god, they're going to let me. They're going to let me talk to the spider. You cast the spell and put on the green wig. Whereas you did not think the spider was making any noise, you now hear it's whispering to itself, rubbing its legs against one another to form the words. Make a wonderful bauble, this fly, it's saying to itself, will look wonderful in a webbing. I'm not a fly. Scratching your nose with a fingernail, you make the reply. I'm not a fly, you have made a mistake. The spider seems to cock its head to a side, perhaps surprised to hear another voice. Of course I'm not a fly, it whispers eventually. A funny thing for me to think. Must be hungry. Moves up your chest towards your throat. I'm not hungry. The spider once more listens closely and begins to look confused. I'm not hungry? It murmurs to itself. Then why am I attacking this fly? It crawls down your body and onto the floor. It discusses the matter with itself. Shouldn't risk myself when I don't need to, it murmurs. I'm so precious, precious. Spider crawls into a crack and the wall is gone. You let out an enormous sigh of relief. Awesome. You have found all you will find here. Follow the road. You continue along the street, which grows narrow and winding. On either side, slum dwellings rise high. Faces appear and disappear behind drapes. Someone throws a bucket of slop. Oh boy. We're getting to the end of this and we still haven't found anything new. Got some supplies, but it's not doing much. I wish I could get... I don't know what I haven't... Don't know if I've gotten in here yet. I'm pretty sure I've gone up that way. Came around there my first day. We are going to try up here. I don't know if I've been this way. Spare a coins? Toss her a coin. By Effie, she cries, a whole gold piece. I was expecting a quarter of one from the look of you. Thanking you, you nod. Ask her about herself. Ask her about... Yeah, herself. Tell me, you begin. She interrupts you. You want to talk? Sit down, play dice. Oh, boy. What's the stake? I just... play for fun. She laughs. I don't do anything for fun. You don't have 4 gold, lady. Busy winding street. Spy some graffiti. Read the graffiti. Stop to read the message. It appears to have been painted very quickly. The cousin is gone. The gourd have no pause. Time to rise. The council is grin. The guard have no pour. Time to rise. You step a little closer. From here you can make out the difference in the marks. Council is gone. The guard have no power. Time to rise. You turn to move on, only find yourself staring in the face of 2 guardsmen. So, looks like our little trap worked. Aye, looks like we caught ourselves a traitor. What are you talking about? Interested in our little slogan there, weren't you? The guard points to the graffiti with a hand. We watched you. You read it twice. More or less prayed to it. I was thinking how to clean it off. Guard laughs. Is that so? Well, we'd rather you didn't since we painted it. Exactly. The message is important. Needs to be seen. So where is the council? The council are in session. We did patrol ourselves there last night. They're deliberating. We have, pronouncing the word deliberately, have been for months. Cast a spell. Make them quiver in their shoes. Nope. JBHN. Oh yeah, there it is. Put on the mask and the spell, turning to the guardsman and growling. The first begins to scream and cover his ears, while the second, who is more stupid and less affected by illusions, merely begins to shiver and shake. Without looking away, you back off down the street. Once you're a few steps away, the guards turn tail and run. You pass a narrow, unpleasant-looking archway on your left as the road turns into a corner in view of the wall. I am not finding anything! The road climbs further, looping back in on itself. The Middle Workers Guild. They don't notice you come in. Take the statue. You go over to the statue, thinking to slip it in your pack, but when you reach out for it, it hops on 2 feet across the floor and out of your reach. Oh, God. There's still nothing here. Don't need to go to the shrine. Sleep in the alley. I haven't been to this meat and cleaver yet. Sit at a table. Go over to a table with space. May I sit? The man waves in hands and shifts to one side. My name is Jira, he says. I'm a musician. You're a traveler? He smiles. How have you enjoyed your day in Karhe? I looked for nobles but found none. I'm not surprised, Jira replies. You'd do better trying to find a shred of decency in Sansa's heart than find the nobles he's been running out of town. The others laugh, but one of the women shakes her head softly. He's not run any out of town. If they were out, he wouldn't be able to control them. He's crippled them all instead. Jira introduces his friend with a gesture. This is Almira. She's a dancer, but don't let that fool you. She's thoughtful soul, if ever there was one. Almira nods her head. Crippled how? Almira shrugs. One blind, one dead, one undead, but buried in the necropolis anyway. So I hear. She smiles and drops her eyes to her beer. Jira crunches on a battered skunk bear toe. So, are you staying here tonight? Not sure yet. You're right, not to be sure. Don't know how many of us would risk our beds at the Haunted Reaver, or whatever this place is called. The owner makes a good rat bone fritters, but he's a few giblets short of a casserole. Where should I stay? The other inn isn't bad, though I hear Vic tends to scoop up the drunks. He nods meaningfully. Who is he? Vic? I wouldn't say Vic is a good man to know, or rather, there's many who know him and wish they didn't. Vic's a bad man. Head of the slave ring and looking to be head of a lot more, so I hear. Almira agrees. They say he intends to overrun the council. It's impossible, but if he's planning it, I suspect he has a trick up his sleeve. Kind of trick? She shakes her head. I have no idea, but Vic is a very clever man indeed, and not afraid to work in league with sorcerers and the dark arts. Jira tries to lighten the tone, raising a toast with his mug. I know the blind noble. And I know the dead guy. I got the dead guy's note. Paper fragment. From the corpse. One's dead, one undead. I need to find the undead guy. Got the blind one and the buried one. I got half of the dead guys, and I have not found the undead guy. I'll cross the river tomorrow. You're visiting Red Eye part of Kare? Well, you better be prepared for them and the traps. Red Eyes. Devils. People, she says. Cursed line of people doomed to look on each other with such extreme hatred that it burns. You'll know a red eye when you see one. By their hatred. Only if they look at you, she says. Jira sighs. It's late. We should be going. Almira nods and takes his hand. Arm in arm, they bid you farewell and leave the inn. See if I get any more information. March over to the bar. Greet the innkeeper. Greetings, good man. The innkeeper nods you. Welcome to Meat and Cleaver. What can I get for you? Ask about food. We're out of food. He points to a corner. Those lot ate everything. Musicians, he says, are always hungry, but good for drinking. Ask about trade. Man peers at you. Trade? This is docks and I sell beer. Trade is the same as it's always been. He shrugs. I know the city's supposed to be going to the dogs and falling apart, but I don't believe it. People are always saying that, but they're still here most nights drinking their beer. How's the city falling apart? Well, you've heard, he said, despite the fact that you're clearly willing to tell him you have not heard. What with the council being in session for 3 straight weeks and the rumors about you-know-who doing you-know-what. What? Well, they say he's trying to seize control. City is the guard, of course, but they say he's building his own army. From what I have no idea. Slaves? I don't credit it. This thing about Vic, this has got to be important. The innkeeper looks suddenly quite afraid. You're a friend of his, are you? I should have listened. I should have guessed. Listen here. I'll vote for him. Vic for first noble. With that, he shuts up. Buy an ale. Beer's off, he answers, tossing a bar towel over the tap. All right. Well, clues have been updated. Let's see. There's only a couple of coins for the room at the other inn. Now I've got money. We're just going to go straight for a bed. And some food. I think it's 10 for the two. Gotta get a table. We want to go to that guy's table again. Alright, we're gonna go talk to this guy. I want your help. I've been told to find a priest, the portal traps, the nobles, spell lines. City nobles. I need to find the nobles. I was told by an old man they're the ones who know the spell. Flanker nods. This is indeed true. But I do not know the city well enough to know where you might find them. Perhaps you might appeal to one of the gods. Which god? Slang is not the strongest for such knowledge, I think, Flanker replies somewhat carelessly. Otherwise, Kugra would know, but his temple is by the north gate. He smiles a thin. Tell me, friend, do you play dice? Yeah, sure. 1, 2. 2 1s. I know you don't have that. Game is yours. You win the round. Flanker nods deeply. Sindla, preserve me. I've lost to you again. Come with me. I'll take you to the council. Oh, thank God. The council! The leaders of Kare are madmen and pirates, but not fools. They might be persuaded to see the sense of your mission, he replies, especially if you have the gold to cover their pockets. Shall we go? Where's the council? Hard to find. It's the tallest building in Kare, but most of its height is built underground, so from the street it looks like another dwelling place. But I know where it is. Absolutely. I didn't get my food. I did not get my food. Which is unfortunate. You follow Flanker across the top of the dock. He moves fast or my room. Like a fleeting shadow, but somehow contrives to never disappear from your sight. He does not speak, and your attempts at conversation are met with silence. Finally, you arrive outside an ordinary-looking building. This is it, he declares. Wait here, and I'll go inside. He disappears through the door. Look at the house. A house Flanker has just gone is just that, surely. The windows are thick bottle glass, and the door is tarred wood, studded with rivets and painted black. The roof, only a single story up, is overgrown with weeds. Other identical dwellings stand on either side. Still nothing. The building in front of you does not seem like any council chamber. Perhaps this is a trap. Look through windows. You peer through one of the windows, but the glass is so thick and heavily streaked on the inside with candle grease you cannot make out anything. Wait. Flanker does not reappear. Wait. Wait, one more time. The distance you hear the sound of cartwheels. Fine. Try the door. Ignoring his instructions, you try the door. You're in a wide room. Chairs line the walls, but there is no other furniture. If this is someone's house, it has been meticulously robbed. But if not, you cannot see what function it does serve. But it cannot be abandoned. A fire in the hearth blazes out heat. There's no sign of Flanker. There are no other doors. Cast a spell. Which spells do I get? DHSM. Good. You cast a spell, a voice tells you there's only one exit and it's by the door. Go over the fire to warm your hands. It seems normal and it's not hot enough to roast a pig. Voice booms out of nowhere. Please, be seated. You choose a seat close to the fire and sit down. Something strange happens the moment you take your weight off your feet. It's though the far wall no longer exists. In its place is a long hallway lined with cloth banners, torches, and brass poles. Two guards stand halfway down the hallway, and between them you see Flanker deep in conversation. Hang back and watch the scene. I'm sorry, the first guard is saying. The council is in session and cannot be disturbed. Flanker is shaking his head. That is incorrect, as you well know. Guard smiles tightly in reply. Flanker turns around and waves to you. Please join me. You stand and stride over to the assassin. I'm afraid the council is in session, the guard repeats. Wait and watch. That's a lie, Flanker replies smoothly. The council is no more. There's no one behind that door. First Noble is behind that door in session. Do I have tell? I do get tell. You cast a spell, slipping on the cloth skull cap and directing your inner ear towards the first guard. He seems to be quite tired and sick of guarding the council door. It seems they have been standing watch over it for the last 2 months. Since the first noble is inside, they cannot leave. You turn your attention to the second guard. He seems more concerned about how to spend the money he stole while doing his rounds today. That's going to get me in trouble. Accuse him of thievery. The guard frowns at you, perhaps about ready to wring your neck. Wait a moment, the other guard asks. What do you mean he's a thief? He stole money from me. Second guard turns to the first, who's clearly his superior. I'm sorry, he begins talking quietly. I'm really sorry. It was just this once. I've told you before, the first guard says coldly. When you steal from civilians, I get a cut. A moment later, the turret blows. Flanker laughs and moves to the door. It opens and he goes inside, beckoning you to follow. This is the main council chamber of Kare, a wide room with a domed roof supported by tall pillars, ornately carved with monsters, serpents, and instruments of torture. In the center, 12 throne-like seats are arranged in a circle, one on a raised dais, presumably the seat of the first noble. All are empty. A chalk circle has been drawn inside the ring of thrones. Well, don't step in that. Flanker frowns. This is not right, he muses. Walk around the chairs. Make a slow circle of the chairs, Flanker doing likewise in the other direction. No one here, he remarks. No secret doors, no hidden passages. You notice the chairs have names on their backs. Look at the names. Throne of the first noble has the name Sansis embossed on gold leaf on its back. The names of the others are smaller and fashioned in plain iron. Mulas, Tiffin, Lorag, Shivna, Zirin, and Theta. It would seem that none of the chairs have been sat in for a very long time. Examine the circle. You approach the chalk circle. It appears to be just what it seems. Circle. Inscribed on the stone floor of the room. The only remarkable thing about it, how perfect it is. A flawless curve. Rather too well drawn, Flanker says, echoing your thoughts. Makes me suspicious. Don't stand in anything that's a circle. Sit in the throne. You walk back to the first noble's chair and you lower yourself down, crossing your legs and surveying the room. Flanker looks up from his forensic investigations of the chalk circle with amusement. I am not walking into that fucking circle. Yes, I am. If the first noble came in here and never left, wherever he went is in the circle. If it sends me to the sewers, I'm leaving. You step towards the circle. At the last moment, Flanker rushes towards you and catches your arm. No, he explains. Once, he breathes, you saved my life. Now I save yours, and my debt is to you. That is no circle, that's a portal trap. I know about portal traps. Good, but how is there one here? The first noble controls the portal traps. Why would he place one inside his own council chamber? It makes no sense. Something very untoward is occurring in the city. I must find out what. He steps to the door. We're going to the same hole as before. You pass a heap of black cloth. It's the shape of a man leant over, clutching his knees, but it does not seem to be moving. Touch it. It collapses at the slightest touch, and you breathe a sigh of relief. Just a piled up cloak, discarded by some previous unfortunate. Examine the cloak. You sift through the heavy cloth. It was a fine cloak. Once before, it was left to rot down here. Switched on the back is a number 1 in a circle. Waterlogged, the cloak is too heavy to carry away. It has no pockets, however, and no gold. But it proves that others have come this way before. This is a different well. The sewer turns a corner. The other's blocked by wreckage. You seal yourself and dig through the filth, trying not to vomit. You come across a glass bottle. You uncork it and take a sniff. Glimberry! Apparently, I was right to come down here. Walk on. Suddenly, it opens into a low chamber. The chamber. You stand ankle deep in filth in a square chamber. Icy droplets fall from the ceiling. The smell is terrible. This is not just any sewer. In the corner of the room is a pile of rags. Someone or something lives down here. Search the rags. You dig into rags and clothing. They must have formed someone's bedding, as they could never have been clothing. Strips and odd squares of cloth of all different kinds. They've probably been scavenged from what people threw into the drains and sewers. Dig through more carefully. You find a few gold. Suddenly, you find yourself itching and scratching. They're covered in fleas, and now they're biting you. Thought occurs to you. Perhaps this is not the hiding place of a beggar, but the nest of some terrible beast. A rush of water floods the chamber, soaking you to the waist. A moment later, it is washed away, but there might be more coming. Despite your concerns, you stop to look around the walls of the chamber. Aside from the pile of rags, there's nothing else here. No stash of food, no weapons, no sign of the inhabitant. Then you notice on the far wall some scratches in the stone. A mark of time, perhaps. Suddenly something growls in the darkness behind you. You look to see a dark, stooped shape approaching fast. It's a rat bear. Which spell do I have for a rat bear? I've got L, K, little G, and Y. You slip the mask and cast a spell. Suddenly the rat bear freezes in terror for its life. It does not wait around, but turns and rushes into the darkness. Look at the marks. You make your way carefully around the cesspool in the middle of the room to the far side where the marks are faintly visible in the gloom. They are not just notches, but letters, and perhaps they were once full words, but they have been borne away by the flowing water, or else filled in with slime and dirt. It looks as though it might have once been a poem. Read it. Oh, thank God. I have a clue. Kugra, one lock deep inside, I bid you. Surely not. It's a spell for the North Gate. Oh, God, I finally have the order. I mean, I've had lots of things telling me which order it is. But this is very useful. This tells me exactly which one is which. Thank God. You walk onwards through the sewer. Shadowy shapes loom out of the darkness, then disappear as you move close. You walk for what seems like an hour, maybe more. The tunnel tilts lower and lower. Perhaps you're going underneath the river. The sound of fast rushing water fills the tunnel. Do I have a sus on me? I do get a sus. You cast a spell. It warns you in a quiet voice that the river bursts dam up ahead, and the tunnel is filling with water as you speak. You will not be able to outrun it, and you will not be able to hide. The water is rushing. Shelter in an alcove, or take a deep breath. We'll try for shelter. Nope. You are not safe, and you get washed away. Swim for it. Impact is so sudden you have no time to prepare. You only have a few moments of air left. Swim with the current. Current is whipping you this way and that. You struggle to get your body under control. Swim up. You swim towards the roof, hoping to find a pocket of fresh air, but you're out of luck. You hit a ceiling. Even the ducts are filling with water. There is no air to be had down here. Swim up a duct. Amongst bursting, you reach a duct in the ceiling. Once outside, it wrenches you upwards with powerful force. Stonework either side is a blur, and you crash, scrape, and bang along the sides painfully. Then suddenly you're spat out into cooler water. You're outside. You come up gasping for air about a quarter of the way across the river that flows through the middle of Kare. All around you is pitch darkness. You struggle and flail for a moment to get your head above water, then turn and swim to the far bank. Of course, all your water damageable positions have been ruined. And all your fleas are washed away. Dive under! Take a deep breath. Dive under. Swim underwater. I am dying. Dark shape looms in the brown water ahead of you. You struggle to control the burning in your lungs. Then the brown shape resolves itself in the far bank. Great. You look around the darkness. The far bank is less popular than the near bank. There are no inns, no markets or stalls, just a single path disappearing in the darkness between large stone buildings. You are too tired from your swimming to walk, so you crawl under a bush and make camp. I starved to death. You swim along the surface of the river, keeping your mouth clear on the filth as best you can. There's a figure moving. Night watchman? You keep swimming, carving your way across, keen to be out of the river as soon as possible. A voice rings out. Someone in the water. One of the slaves is escaping. Dive. They are firing into the water. You arrive at the far bank. Check that it's safe. You wait in the cold river, but men and their lanterns are a little farther up the bank. You should be safe to climb up here. You look around the darkness. It's less populated. Take a nap. Starve to death. Close your eyes. You get some weird-ass dreams. And we go on to the next morning on this side of the bank. I lost my money. I didn't get to sleep. I didn't get to eat. Because I went with him to the council and I found the note. But I still don't know where the first council member is. And I still don't know where the undead guy haunting the streets is. I lost notes and stuff because everything got wet. I got the poem. That's what I needed. Pick for first noble. Well, that's gonna do it for this one. I'll see if I can find anything new on this side of the river. I sort of found everything. I think I found everything I needed over on the west side. Unless I want to go find that corpse down here again. Never gotten over here. I think this is the guards area. I think I've ever allowed to go in there. So, we'll see what I can find on the east side next time.